Welcome back to another one. I hope everyone is doing well. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about buying a used boat. And in this case, it's going to be our story. I know some people get a little discouraged because they hear BOAT, bust out another thousand. That's what the meaning of boat is. As true as that may be, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to bust out another thousand. So let's go ahead, introduce our boat. I would like to introduce to you our 1994 Bayliner Capri 1600. All right, this is a 16-footer Bayliner bow rider. We ended up getting this up on the marketplace. You guys know what I'm talking about with that. It can be a hit and miss, but go into it, do a lot of research about boats before you get into it. And then when you get to go see the boat, do a good thorough search. So that way you know what you're getting yourself into to see if it's worth. The very first thing that I did was I cleaned the hull, and yes, I used Lysol. It worked. Next was actually going through the interior to see what was damaged, to see what needed to be cleaned. Super happy to see that we ended up getting these brand new ropes, tie ropes. Alright, the next thing I did was I replaced the main fuse in the motor with a resettable fuse. For whatever reason, this motor was actually blowing the fuses all the time. So instead of going through fuses, I wanted to make sure that I had something that I can just press a button, resettable fuse. Alright, so one of the things that happens almost every 2 to 3 years is changing the water pump. This is something that I wanted to learn on how to do myself. And I was super happy that I was able to do it. It was actually not that hard. It was just very carefully.
And a new impeller. This thing is pretty old.
Alright, another issue that we had with the Force motor was the starter. This is something that I had to replace, and I wanted to do it myself because it was cheaper. Alright, so this one was a big one. So our lower unit, the gear casing, all the gears actually blew up inside, and we lost the bearing, the mount, and also the propeller, which left us stranded on the water. Lucky enough, we had a very nice gentleman who came and basically saved us, towed us back into where we had to go. And this was something that I guess, I don't know, I should have done maintenance, should have repaired the bearing here, but I didn't. Good news was back on the market again. We ended up finding a lower unit, and this time we had a skeg, which is the fin that's underneath, and it also came with the next propeller, so I didn't have to worry about that. So this was kind of like an all-in-one unit, and super happy that I was able to source this out. The next issue that we ended up having was actually our power and trim tilt motor stopped working. Did some sourcing, found out that these motors are super expensive being bought brand new. So what I ended up doing was I pulled mine apart, took it to a electric motor repair shop, and had it rebuilt. After tackling a lot of the mechanical stuff over the years, what I wanted to start focusing on was the actual inside of the boat. As you can see, the driver's side up was all rotten out, and it was horrible. So ended up replacing as much as I could with all that wood. So there I am, taking out the rotten wood and replacing it with new stuff that I painted with waterproof and installed it. Not bad for my very first time. Looks pretty good. Alright, next step was I wanted to repower the boat with a more current and a company that's actually still around. So Force Motor, quite a few years ago, actually closed their doors, so that meant finding parts for it was becoming very scarce and very difficult. So I made the decision to go ahead to get a more current motor, Mercury. These guys have been around for a very long time. And yeah, super happy how it turned out. Yes, it's only 10 horsepower less, but the motor weighed a significantly lot lighter than the Force, which overall we didn't lose anything. After destroying the spindle here on our axle, this is all of one piece. We actually had to replace the entire thing. So I went ahead and I made the opportunity to actually replace it myself. This was actually a very fun project for me. Learned a lot on how to weigh and figure out what axles you need and the dimensions. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So we actually upgraded. We added like another 1,000 pounds to the axle, and this is it. All right, the next one was actually replacing the tunnel and bow cover. Now, this is a generic tarp that we had. It was just from our local store. So we wanted to go something a little bit more official that's more suited for the boat. So we got the tunnel cover, which is this piece here, and then the bow cover. This is to basically help keep the sun and also the rain and moisture out of the boat. This was another big project that I did. Now, the boat originally had cable steering. Over time, what ends up happening with the cable steering is that they become very stiff because they actually are starting to seize. So what I decided to do was to install hydraulic steering. A couple of reasons for this is, one, it makes maintenance a little bit easier, and also the installation, and also for driving makes it so much better. This was a product from V4 that I purchased with my money. I installed it and I do not regret it at all. This was by far my favorite upgrade on the boat. Depending on where you are in the hemisphere, for us, this is definitely what we have to do every year for winterizing the boats. Now, this is a step that we have to drain all the fluids out, and if there's any fuel, we ensure that we put fuel stabilizer. This is to make sure that if there is any moistures in any of the components that during the winter, when it gets really cold, that no moisture or water freezes and damages anything. So this is a big step. Another thing too, it's just kind of an older trick, is dryer sheets. Dryer sheets, throw them all over the boat. This is to help keep rodents and unwanted animals out. Also, battery maintainer, and then just put the boat away to sleep. Hope you enjoyed the video. Think about subscribing. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you are notified every single time that we release a new video. Also, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. That helps us with the algorithm. Stay safe. Who knows, maybe we'll see you up.